Hi guys, I'm back. Today I'm going to read Leviticus 25 to 27, Numbers 1 to 3, Proverbs 18, and Psalm 111. Let's get started. The Lord spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai, saying, Speak to the people of Israel and say to them, When you come into the land that I give you, the land shall keep a Sabbath to the Lord. For 6 years you shall sow your field, and for 6 years you shall prune your vineyard and gather in its fruits. But in the 7th year they shall be a Sabbath of solemn rest for the land. The Sabbath to the Lord. You shall not sow your field or prune your vineyard. You shall not reap what grows of itself in your harvest, or gather the grapes of your undressed vine. It shall be a year of solemn rest for the land. The Sabbath of the land shall provide food for yourself and for your male and female slaves, and for your hired worker and the sojourner who lives with you, and for your cattle and for the wild animals that are in the land. All its yield shall be for food. It shall count 7 weeks of years, 7 times 7 years, so that the time of the 7 weeks of years shall give you 49 years. And you shall sound the loud trumpet on the 10th day of the 7th month. On the day of atonement you shall sound the trumpet throughout all your land. And then you shall consecrate the 50th year, and proclaim liberty throughout the land to all its inhabitants. It shall be a jubilee for you, when each of you shall return to his property, and each of you shall return to his clan. That 50th year shall be a jubilee for you. In it you shall neither sow nor reap what grows of itself, nor gather the grapes from the undressed vines. For it is a jubilee. It shall be holy to you. You may eat the produce of the field. In this year of jubilee each of you shall return to his property. And if you make a sale to your neighbour, or buy from your neighbour, you shall not wrong one another. You shall pay your neighbour according to the number of years after the jubilee, and he shall sell to you according to the number of years for crops. If the years are many, you shall increase the price, and if the years are few, you shall reduce the price. For it is the number of the crops that he is selling to you. You shall not wrong one another, you shall fear your God. I am the Lord your God. Therefore you shall do my statutes and keep my laws and perform them. And then you will dwell in the land securely. The land will yield its fruit, and you will eat your fill and dwell in it securely. And if you say, What shall we eat in the 7th year, if we may not sow or gather in our crop? I'll command my blessing on you in the 6th year, and it will produce a crop sufficient for 3 years. When you sow in the 8th year, you will be eating some of the old crop, and you shall eat the old until the 9th year, when its crop arrives. The land shall not be sold in perpetuity, for the land is mine. You are strangers and sojourners with me, and in all the country you possess, you shall allow a redemption of the land. If your brother becomes poor and sells part of his property, then his nearest redeemer shall come and redeem what his brother has sold. If a man has no one to redeem it, and then himself becomes prosperous and finds sufficient means to redeem it, let him calculate the years since he sold it and pay back the balance to the man to whom he sold it, and then return to his property. If he does not have sufficient means to recover it, then what he sold shall remain in the hand of the buyer until the year of Jubilee. And the Jubilee shall be released, and he shall return to his property. If a man sells a dwelling house in the walled city, he may redeem it within a year of its sale, and for a full year he shall have the right of redemption. If it is not redeemed within a full year, then the house in the walled city shall belong in perpetuity to the buyer through a full year, throughout his generations, and it shall not be released in the Jubilee. But the houses of the villages that have no wall around them shall be classified with the fields of the land, and they may be redeemed, and they shall be released in the Jubilee. And as for the cities of the Levites may redeem at any time the houses in the cities they possess. And if one of the Levites exercises his right of redemption in the house that was from the city that they possess, shall be released in the Jubilee. All the houses in the cities of the Levites are their possession among the people of Israel. But the fields of pasture land belonging to their cities may not be sold, for that is their possession forever. If your brother becomes poor and cannot maintain himself with you, you shall support him as though he were a stranger and a sojourner, and he shall live with you. Take no interest from him or profit, but fear God, and your brother may live beside you. You shall not lend him your money at interest, nor give him your food for profit. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to give you to the land of Canaan, and to be your God. If your brother becomes poor beside you and sells himself to you, you shall not make him serve as a slave. He shall be with you as a hired worker and as a sojourner. He shall serve with you until the year of the Jubilee. Then he shall go out from you, and he and his children with him, and go back to his own land and return to the possession of his fathers. For they are my servants, whom I brought out of the land of Egypt. And he shall not be sold as slaves. You shall not rule over him ruthlessly, but you shall fear your God. As for your male and female slaves, whom you may have, you may buy male and female slaves from among the nations that are around you. And you may also buy from among the strangers who sojourn with you, and their clothes that are with you, been born in your land, and they may be your property. You may bequeath them to your sons after you to inherit a possession forever. You may make slaves of them, but over your brothers, the people of Israel, you shall not rule. You will one over another ruthlessly. If a stranger or sojourner with you becomes rich, and your brother beside him becomes poor and sells himself to the stranger or sojourner with you, or to a member of the stranger's clan, and after he is sold, he may be redeemed. One of his brothers may redeem him, and his uncle or his cousin may redeem him, or a close relative from his clan may redeem him. Or if he grows rich, he may redeem himself. He shall calculate with his buyer from the year which when he sold himself to him until the year of Jubilee, and the price of his sale shall vary with the number of years. The time he was with his owner shall be rated as the time of a hired worker. And if there are still many years left, he shall pay proportionately for his redemption from the sale price. If there remain but a few years until the year of Jubilee, he shall calculate and pay for his redemption in proportion to his years of service. He shall treat him as a worker hired year by year. He shall not rule ruthlessly over him in your sight. And if he is not redeemed by these means, then he and his children with him shall be released in the year Jubilee. For it is to me that the people of Israel are servants. They are my servants whom I brought out of the land of Canaan. I am the Lord your land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. You shall not make idols for yourself, or erect an image or a pillar. You shall not set up a figured stone in your land, or bow down to it. For I am the Lord your God. You shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord. If you walk in my statutes and observe my commandments and do, then I will give you your rain in their season, and the land shall yield its increase, and the trees of the field shall yield their fruit. Their threshing shall last to the time of the great harvest. And the great harvest shall last to the time for sowing. And you shall eat your bread to the full, and dwell in your land securely. I will give peace in the land, and you shall lie down, and none shall make you afraid. And I will remove half of the beasts from your land, and the sword shall not go through your land. You shall chase your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword. And 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall chase 10,000, and the enemy shall fall before you by the sword. I will turn to you and make you fruitful, and multiply you, and will confirm my covenant with you. You will eat old stored long kept, and you shall clear out the old to make way for the new. I will make my dwelling among you, and my soul shall not abhor you. And I will walk among you, and will be your God. And you shall be my people. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt. And you should not be their slave. And I have broken the bond of your yoke, and made you walk erect. If you will not listen to me, and will not do all these commands, if you spare my statutes, and if your soul upholds my rules, then you will not do all my commandments, but break my covenant. And I'll do this to you. I will visit you with panic, with wasting disease and fever that consume the eyes, and make the heart ache. And you shall sow your seed in vain, and your enemy shall eat it. And I will set my face against you, and you shall be struck down before your enemies. Those that hate you shall rule over you, and you shall flee when no one pursues you. And if in spite of this you will not listen to me, then I will discipline you again sevenfold for your sins. And I will break the pride of your power, and I will make your heavens like iron and earth like bronze. And your strength shall be spent in vain. For your land shall not yield its increase, and the trees of the land shall not yield their fruit. And if you walk contrary to me and will not listen to me, I will continue striking you sevenfold for your sins. And I will let loose the wild beasts against you, which shall bereave you of your children, and destroy your livestock, and make you few in number, so that your roads may be deserted. And if by this discipline you are not turned to me, or walk contrary to me, then I also will walk contrary to you. Then I myself will strike you sevenfold for your sins, and I will bring a sword upon you, and it shall execute vengeance for the covenant. And if you gather within your cities, I will send pestilence among you, and you shall be delivered into the hand of the enemy. When I break your supply of bread, 10 women shall bake your bread in a single oven, and shall dole out your bread again by weight, and it shall eat and not be satisfied. But if in spite of this you will not listen to me, or walk contrary to me, then I will walk contrary to you in fear, and I myself will discipline you sevenfold for your sins. You shall eat the flesh of your sons, and you shall eat the flesh of your daughters, and I will destroy your high places, and cut down your incense altars, and cast your dead bodies upon the dead bodies of your idols. And my soul will abhor you, and I will lay your cities waste, and will make your sanctuaries desolate, and I will not smell your pleasing aromas. And I myself will devastate the land, so that your enemies who settle on it shall be appalled at it. And I will scatter you among the nations, and I will unsheath the sword after you. And your land shall be a desolation, and your cities shall be a waste. And the land shall enjoy its Sabbaths as long as it lies desolate. Now you are in your enemy's land, and the land shall rest and enjoy its Sabbath. As long as it lies desolate, it shall have rest, and the rest that it did not have on your Sabbath when you were dwelling in it. And as for you who are left, I'll set faintness into their hearts and the lands of their enemies. The sound of a driven leaf shall put them to flight, and they shall flee as one flees from the sword. And they shall fall when none pursues. They shall stumble over one another, as if to escape a sword, and there are none pursues. Then you shall have no power to stand before your enemies. And you shall have perished among the nations, and the land of your enemies shall eat you up. And those of you who are left shall rot away in their enemies' lands because of their iniquity. And I say because of the iniquities of their fathers, they shall rot away like them. If they confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers and their treachery that they committed against me, and I say I'm walking contrary to me, so that I will walk contrary to them and brought them into the land of their enemies. Then their uncircumcised heart is humbled, and they make amends for their iniquity. Then I will remember my covenant with Jacob, and I will remember my covenant with Isaac, and my covenant with Abraham, and I will remember the land, and the land shall be abandoned by them, and enjoy its Sabbaths while it lies desolate without them, and they shall make amends for their iniquity, because they spurn my rules, and their soul uphold my statutes. Yet for all that, when they are in the land of their enemies, I will not spurn them, neither will I abhor them, so as to destroy them utterly, and break my covenant with them. For I am the Lord their God. But I will for their sake remember the covenant with their forefathers, whom I brought out of the land of Egypt and the side of the nation, that I might be their God. I am the Lord. These are the statutes and rules and laws that the Lord made between himself and the people of Israel through Moses on Mount Sinai. And the Lord spake to Moses, saying, Speak to the people of Israel and say to them, if anyone makes a special vow to the Lord involving the valuation of persons, then the valuation of a male from 20 years old up to 60 years old shall be 50 shekels of silver, according to the shekel of the sanctuary. If a person is female, the valuation shall be 30 shekels. If a person is from 5 years old up to 20 years old, the valuation shall be for a male 20 shekels, and for a female 10 shekels. If the person is from a month old up to 5 years old, the valuation shall be for a male 5 shekels of silver, and for a female the valuation shall be 3 shekels of silver. And if the person is 60 years old, and the valuation for a male shall be 15 shekels, and for a female 10 shekels. And if someone is too poor to pay the valuation, then he shall be made to stand before the priest, and the priest shall value him. The priest shall value him according to what the vow can afford. If the vow is an animal that may be offered as an offering to the Lord, all of it that he gives to the Lord is holy. He shall not exchange it or make substitute for it, good or for bad, or bad for good. And if he does in fact substitute one animal for another, then both it and the substitute shall be holy. And if it is any unclean animal that may not be offered as an offering to the Lord, then he shall stand the animal before the priest, and the priest shall value it as either good or bad, and the priest values it, so it shall be. But if he wishes to redeem it, he shall add a fifth to the valuation. And a man who dedicates his house as a holy gift to the Lord, the priest shall value it as either good or bad, as the priest values it, so it shall stand. And if the donor wishes to redeem his house, he shall add a fifth to the valuation price, and it shall be his. If a man dedicates to the Lord part of the land, that is his possession, then their valuation shall be in proportion to his seed. A homer of barley seed shall be valued at 50 shekels of silver. If he dedicates his field from the year of Jubilee, the valuation shall stand. If he dedicates his field after the Jubilee, then the priest shall calculate the price according to the years that remain until the year of Jubilee. And then a deduction shall be made from the valuation. And if he who dedicates the field wishes to redeem, then he shall add a fifth to its valuation price, and it shall remain his. But if he does not wish to redeem the field, or if he has sold the field to another man, it shall not be redeemed anymore, but the field. When it is released in the Jubilee, it shall be a holy gift to the Lord, like a field that has been devoted. The priest shall be in possession of it. If he dedicates to the Lord a field that he has bought, it is not part of his possession, and the priest shall calculate the amount of the valuation for it up to the year of Jubilee. And the man shall give the valuation on that day as a holy gift to the Lord. In the year of Jubilee, the field shall return to him from whom it was bought. To whom the land belongs as a possession. Every valuation shall be according to the shekel of the sanctuary. 20 shekels shall make a shekel. But the firstborn of animals, which of firstborn belongs to the Lord. No man may dedicate, whether it is ox or sheep, for it is the Lord's. And if it is unclean animal, then he shall buy it back at the valuation, and add a fifth to it. Or if it is not redeemed, it shall be sold at the valuation. No devoted thing that a man devotes to the Lord, or anything that he has, whether man or beast, or whoever's inherited field, shall be sold or redeemed. Every devoted thing is most holy to the Lord. No one devoted who is to be devoted or for destruction from mankind shall be ransomed. He shall surely be put to death. Every tithe of the land, whether of the seed or of the land, or of the fruit of the trees, is holy to the Lord. If a man wishes to redeem some of his tithe, he shall add a fifth to it. And every tithe for herds and flocks, every 10th animal of all that pass under the herds and stuff, it shall be holy to the Lord. One shall not differentiate between good or bad. Neither shall he make a substitute for it. And if he does a substitute for it, then both it and the substitute shall be holy. It shall not be redeemed. These are the commandments that the Lord commanded Moses for the people of Israel on Mount Sinai. Numbers 1-3. The Lord spoke to Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, in the tent of meeting, on the first day of the second month, in the second year after they had come out of the land of Egypt, saying, Take a census of all the congregation of the people of Israel, by clans, by fathers' houses, according to the number of names, every male, head by head, from 20 years old and upward, all in Israel who are able to go to war. You and Aaron shall list them, company by company, and there shall be with you a man from each tribe, each man being the head of the house of his fathers. These are the names of the men who shall assist you from Reuben, Eliezer the son of Shedeur; from Simeon, Shelemiel the son of Zurishaddai; from Judah, Nashon the son of Amminadab; from Isaac, Nethanel the son of Zuar; from Zebulun, Eliab the son of Helon; from the sons of Joseph; from Ephraim, Elishama the son of Ammihud; and from Manasseh, Gamaliel the son of Pedazur; from Benjamin, Abidan the son of Gideoni; from Dan, Ahiezer the son of Ammishaddai; from Asher, Pagiel the son of Okran; from Gad, Eliasaph the son of Jeuel; from Naphtali, Ahira the son of Enan. These were the ones chosen from the congregation, the chiefs of their ancestral tribes, and the heads of their clans of Israel. And Moses and Aaron took these men who had been named, and on the first day of the second month they assembled the whole congregation together, who registered themselves by clans, my father's house, according to the number of names from 20 years old and upward, head by head, as the Lord commanded Moses. So he listed them in the wilderness of Sinai. And the people of Reuben, Israel's firstborn, their generations, and by their clans, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, head by head, every male from 20 years old and upward, all who were able to go to war. Those listed of the tribe of Reuben were 46,500. Of the people of Simeon, their generation, by their clans, by their fathers' houses, those of them who were listed, according to their number of names, head by head, every male from 20 years old and upward, all who were able to go to war. Those listed of the tribe of Simeon were 59,300. Of the people of Gad, their generations, by their clans, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, all who were able to go to war. Those listed of the tribe of Gad were 45,650. Of the people of Judah, their generations, by their clans, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, every male able to go to war. Those listed of the tribe of Judah were 74,600. Of the people of Isaac, their generations, by their clans, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, every man able to go to war. Those listed of the tribe of Isaac were 54,400. Of the people of Zebulun, their generations, by their clans, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, every man able to go to war. Those listed of the tribe of Zebulun were 57,400. Of the people of Joseph, namely of the people of Ephraim, their generations, by their clans, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, every man able to go to war. Those listed of the tribe of Ephraim were 40,500. Of the people of Manasseh, their generations, by their clans, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, every man able to go to war. Those listed of the tribe of Manasseh were 32,200. Of the people of Benjamin, their generations, by their clans, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, every man able to go to war. Those listed of the tribe of Benjamin were 35,400. Of the people of Dan, their generations, by their clans, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 20 years old and upward, every man able to go to the war. Those listed of the tribe of Dan were 62,700. Of the people of Asher, their generations, by their clans, their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, from 10 years old and upward, every man able to go to war. Those listed of the tribe of Asher were 41,500. But the people of Naphtali, their generations, by their clans, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of men, from 20 years old and upward, every man able to go to war. This list of the tribe of Naphtali were 53,400. These are those who are listed, who were Moses and Aaron listed with the help of the chiefs of Israel, 12 men, each representing his father's house. So all those listed of the Hebrew Israel by their father's houses, from 20 years old and upward, every man able to go to war in Israel. All those listed were 603,550. And the Levites were not listed among them by their ancestral tribe. While the Lord spake to Moses, only the tribe of Levi you shall not list, and you shall not take a census of them among the people of Israel. And appoint the Levites over the tabernacle of the testimony, and over all its furnishings, and over all that belongs to it. They are to carry the tabernacle, and over all its furnishings, and over all that belongs to it. And they are to carry the tabernacle and all its furnishings, and they shall take care of it, and they shall camp around the tabernacle. When the tabernacle is set out, the Levites shall take it down, and when the tabernacle is to be pitched, the Levites shall set it up. And if any outsider come near, he shall be put to death. And the people of Israel shall pitch their tents by their companies, each man is in a camp, and each man by his own stand. And the Levites shall camp around the tabernacle of the testimony, so that there may be no wrath on the congregation of the people of Israel. And the Levites shall keep guard over the tabernacle of the testimony. Thus did the people of Israel. They did according to all that the Lord commanded Moses. And the Lord spake to Moses and Aaron, saying, the people of Israel shall camp each by his own stand, with the banners of their fathers' houses. They shall camp facing the tent of meeting on every side. Those to camp on the east side toward the sunrise shall be of the standard of the camp of Judah by their companies. The chief of the people of Judah, being Nashon the son of Amminadab, his company is listed being 74,600. Those to camp next to him shall be the tribe of Isaac, the chief of the people of Isaac, being Nethanel the son of Zuar, his company being listed as 54,400. And the tribe of Zebulun, the chief of the people of Zebulun, being Eliab the son of Helon, his company as listed being 57,400. All those listed on the camp of Judah, their companies were 186,400. So they shall set out first on the march. On the south side shall be the standard of the camp of Reuben by their companies. The chief of the people of Reuben being Eliezer the son of Shedeur. His company is listed being 46,500. And those who camp next to him shall be the tribe of Simeon. And the chief of the people of Simeon being Shelomiel the son of Zerishadai. His company is listed being 59,300. And the tribe of Gad, the chief of the people of Gad, being Eliasaph the son of Ruel, his company is listed being 45,600. All those listed on the camp of Reuben, their companies were 151,450. They shall set out second, and the tent of meeting shall set out with the camp of the Levites and the rest of the camp. As they camp, so they shall set out, each in position, stand by stand. On the west side shall be the stand of the camp of Ephraim by their companies. The chief of the people of Ephraim being Elishama the son of Ammihud. His company is listed being 40,500. And then next to him shall be the tribe of Manasseh. Chief of the people of Manasseh being Gamaliel the son of Pedazur. His company is listed being the son of Gideoni. His company is listed being 35,400. All those listed on the camp of Ephraim by their companies were 108,100. They shall set out third on the march. On the north side shall be the standard of the camp of Dan by their companies. The chief of the people of Dan being Ahiezer the son of Ammishaddai. His company as listed being 62,700. And those to camp next to him shall be the tribe of Asher. The chief of the people of Asher being Pagiel the son of Ochran, his company being listed as 41,500. And the tribe of Naphtali, the chief of the people of Naphtali being Ahira the son of Aaron. His company is listed being 53,400. All those listed at the camp of Dan were 157,600. He shall set out last, standard by standard. These are the people of Israel, as listed by their fathers' houses. All those listed in the camps of their companies were 603,550. But the Levites were not listed among the people of Israel, as the Lord commanded Moses. And thus did the people of Israel, according to all that the Lord commanded Moses. So they camped by their stands, and there they set out, each one in his clan, according to his father's house. These are the generations of Aaron and Moses at the time when the Lord spake with Moses on Mount Sinai. These are the names of the sons of Aaron: Nadab the firstborn, and Abihu, Elzar, and Ithamar. And these are the names of the sons of Aaron, and known to priests, whom he ordained to serve as priests. Nadab and Abihu died before the Lord when they offered an unauthorized fire before the Lord in the wilderness of Sinai, and they had no children. So Elzar and Ithamar served as priests in the lifetime of Aaron their father. And the Lord spake to Aaron, Moses, saying, Bring the tribe of Levi near, and set them before Aaron the priest, that they may minister to him. And they shall keep guard over him and over the whole congregation for the tabernacle. Hence they minister at the tabernacle. And they shall guard all the furnishings of the tabernacle, and keep guard over the people of Israel as they minister at the tabernacle. And you shall give the Levites to Aaron and his sons. They are wholly given to him from among the people of Israel. And you shall appoint Aaron and his sons, and they shall guard their priesthood. And if any outsider comes near, then he shall be put to death. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Behold, I have taken the Levites from among the people of Israel, and instead of every firstborn who opens the womb among the people of Israel, the Levites shall be mine. For all the firstborn are mine. On the day that I struck down all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, I consecrated for my own all the firstborn in Israel, both of man and of beast. And it shall be mine, I am the Lord. And the Lord spake to Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, saying, List the sons of Levi, so by fathers' houses and by clans, even down from a month old and upward you shall list. So Moses listed them according to the word of the Lord, as he was commanded. And these are the sons of Levi by their names, Gershon and Kohath and Merari. And these are the names of the sons of Gershon by their clans, Libni and Shimei. And by the sons of Kohath by their clans, Amram, Ishai, Hebron, and Uzziel. And the sons of Merari by their clans, Mali and Mushi. These are the clans of the Levites by their fathers' houses. To Gershon belonged the clan of the Libnites and the clan of the Shimeites. These were the clans of the Gershonites. Their listing, according to the number of all the males from the month old and upward, was 7,500. The clans of the Gershonites were to camp behind the tabernacle on the west, with Eliasaph, the son of Leah, was chief of the fathers' house of the Gershonites. And the guard duty of the sons of Gershon in the tent of meeting involved the tabernacle, with their tent with its covering, their screen for the entrance of the tent of meeting, their hangings of the court, their screen for the door of the court that is around the tabernacle and the altar, and its cords, all the service connected with these. To Kohath belonged the clan of the Amramites, and the clan of the Ishmaelites, and the clan of the Hebronites, and the clan of the Israelites. These are the clans of the Kohathites, according to the number of all the males. From a month old and upward, there were 8,600. Keeping guard over the sanctuary. The clans of the sons of Kohath were to camp on the south side of the tabernacle, with Elizaphan, the son of Israel, as chief of the father's house of the place of the Kohathites. And their guard duty involved the ark, the table, the lampstand, the altars, the vessel of the sanctuary with which the priest minister and the screen, all the service connected with these. And those are the son of Aaron the priest, and was to be chief over the chiefs of the Levites, and to have oversight of those who kept guard over the sanctuary. To Merari belonged the clan of the Mahlites and the clan of the Mushites. These are the clans of Merari. Their listing according to the number of all the males from a month old and upward was 6,200. And the chief of their fathers' houses of the clans of Merari was Uriel the son of Abihail. They were to camp on the north side of the tabernacle, and the appointed guard duty of the sons of Merari involved the frames of the tabernacle, the bars, the pillars, the bases, and all their accessories. All the service connected with these. Most of the pillars around the court had their bases and pegs and cords. Those who were to camp before the tabernacle on the east, before the tent of meeting toward the sunrise, were Moses and Aaron and his sons, guarding the sanctuary itself, to protect the people of Israel. And any outsider who came near was to be put to death. And those listed among the Levites whom Moses and Aaron listed at the commandment of the Lord by clans, all the males from a month old and upward were 2,200. And the Lord said to Moses, List all the firstborn males of the people of Israel from a month old and upwards, taking the number of their names. And you shall take the Levites for me, I am the Lord, instead of all the firstborn among the people of Israel, and the cattle of the Levites instead of all the firstborn among the cattle of the people of Israel. So Moses listed all the firstborn among the people of Israel, as the Lord commanded him, and all the firstborn males according to the number of the names. From a month old and upward was listed were 22,273. And the Lord spake to Moses, saying, Take the Levites instead of all the firstborn among the people of Israel, and the cattle of the Levites instead of their cattle. And Levi shall be my handler, and knows the redemption price of the 273 of the first woman of the people of Israel, even above the number of the male Levites. You shall take 5 shekels per head, and you shall take them according to the shekel of the sanctuary, and give the money to Aaron and to his sons as the redemption price for those who are over. And Moses took the redemption money from those who were over and above those who were redeemed by the Levites. And the first one of the people of Israel, he took the money, 1,365 shekels, as the shekel of the sanctuary. And Moses gave the redemption money to Aaron and to his sons, according to the word of the Lord, as the Lord commanded Moses. Proverbs 18. Whoever isolates himself seeks his own desire. He breaks out against all sound judgment. A fool takes no pleasure in understanding, but only in expressing his opinion. When the wickedness comes, contempt comes also, and with disorder comes disgrace. The words of a man's mouth are deep waters, but the fountain of wisdom is a bubbling brook. It is not good to be partial to the wicked, or to deprive the righteous of justice. A fool will fall into a fight, and his mouth invites a beating. A fool's mouth is ruin, and his lips are a snare to his soul. The words of a whisperer are like delicious morsels. They go down into the inner parts of the body. Whoever is slacking his work is the brother to him who destroys. The name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the righteous man runs into it and is safe. And like a rich man's wealth is a strong city, and like a high wall in its imagination. The full destruction of a man's heart is haughty. Like humility comes before honor. If one gives an answer before he hears, it is his folly and shame. A man's spirit will endure sickness, but a crushed spirit who can bear. An intelligent heart acquires knowledge, rather than the ear of the wise seeks knowledge. A man's gift makes room for him, and brings him before the great. The one who states his case first sees fire, until the other comes and examines him. The Lord puts an end to quarrels, and decides between powerful contenders. A brother offended is more unyielding than a strong seed, and quarreling like the bars is like the bars of a castle. From the fruit of a man's mouth his stomach is satisfied. He is satisfied by the yield of his lips. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat his fruit. He finds a wife finds a good thing, and obtains favor from the Lord. The poor uses entreaties, but the rich answer roughly. A man of many companions may come to him, but theirs a friend who sticks closer than a father. Psalm 111. I'll give thanks to the Lord with my whole heart, in the company of the upright in the congregation. Great are the works of the Lord, studied by all who delight in them. Full of splendor and mercy is his work, and his righteousness endures forever. His court is wondrous of works to be remembered. The Lord is gracious and merciful, and he provides food for those who fear him. He remembers his covenant forever. He has shown his people the power of his word, and giving them the inheritance of the nation. And the work of his hands are faithful and just. All his precepts are trustworthy. They are established forever and ever. He performed with faithfulness and uprightness. He sent redemption to his people. His command is to covenant forever. Holy and awesome is his name. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and all who practice it have a good understanding. His praise endures forever. Now the stone, I shall down to the Lord's prayer. His mighty heads, our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we also forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. See you tomorrow. Bye.